This is the Defenders podcast on TV Podcast Industries. This time we're talking about She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, episode 4. Is this not real magic?
Who are you? Are you the Goblin King?
No, I'm not. Where did you come from, miss?
I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, but now my dad lives in Phoenix with his new family, so I go there sometimes. He married this woman who's...
Cut-rate magician sent you here.
Not exactly.
He sent me to a diff dimension.
And a talking goat helped me escape a lava pit in exchange for 6 drops of my blood. Oop. Then I kind of browned out, and now I'm here.
Okay, yep. Okay, no. I'm going to send you home. What's your address?
I don't even remember.
Welcome back, fellow Defenders, to our discussion about She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. This time we're talking about episode 4, Is This Not Real Magic? I am one of your hosts, Derek.
Hello there, fellow Wongers. Yes, I am one of your other hosts, John.
Hello there, Hulky Wulkies? Is that a one? Can we call that? No, that just sounds weird.
It does.
Hello, fellow Defenders, I'm Chris.
Yeah, none of us have any unusual names with letters in the wrong place, unfortunately. I was hoping for maybe Christopher with an F and 2 E's, but not where you think.
I could do it that way if you really... It's Chris with a Y, but not where you think. That's the one where you're like, what?
Yeah. Which one? Excellent. Well, welcome back, fellow Defenders. Good to have you with us for our discussions about She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. This was a fun episode. Hopefully we're going to have a good chat about this one.
Yeah. No, this is, again, you're right. This is a fun one that's just kind of... It feels bite-sized. Like, they feel short, and I think they're not. They're still 25, 20, 23 to, say, 27 minutes. But it's because we're used to these 40, 50, hour and 5 minute long episodes that are coming with Lord of the Rings and House of Dragons and every other show is like all of them are like these gargantuan in comparison. I'm like, actually, this is fun because I'm in, I have my laughs, and I'm out.
Exactly.
Good.
It's the perfect amount of time to eat a cereal at breakfast when I'm sitting watching it from 8 to half 8 on a Thursday morning. So,
I'm a lunch man. See, I have my coffee already. Then I'm awake. I can take it all in. I can take notes while like a sandwich in one hand and a Hulk in the other, and then Hulk on the TV.
Excellent. That's the second time I watch it. I do it later on in the day. But anyway, if this is your first time joining us in TV Podcast Industries, please go over and subscribe to the podcast. You can find us by searching TV Podcast Industries on any good or evil podcast player out there, or pop it over to our website at tvpodcastindustries.com, where you can subscribe to our podcast in loads of locations. You can also email us with your thoughts about any of the shows that we're covering to feedback at tvpodcastindustries.com. But guys, let's get into our chat about She-Hulk episode 4, Is This Not Real Magic?
So Derek, give us the details.
I will, yes. The executive producers for the show are Kevin Feige, Louis D'Esposito, Victoria Alonso, Brandon Winterbaum, Jessica Gao, and Kate Quorro. Kate Quorro once again directed this episode, and the episode was written by Melissa Hunter. This is her first episode of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, but she has been a TV writer since 2014, including writing multiple episodes of the comedy series Santa Clarita Diet on Netflix.
I loved that show.
Really?
It was silly. It got ridiculous. But it was a bit of crack. You know when you wanted that palate cleanser? That's what it was. Excellent.
So obviously some good comedy chops from Melissa. And yes. John, do you want to tell us what they gave us with your synopsis for She-Hulk episode 4? Is this not real magic?
Sure. Welcome to the magical world of Donny Blaze. His traditional parlor tricks are going down like a lead balloon, so he decides to spice up his show using the sling ring he got during his 1-week training in the mystic arts at Kamatage. He sends his volunteer named Madison to a hell dimension to huge applause from his audience. Madison makes a deal with a demon to escape the hell dimension and is dumped out of another portal in front of Wong, master of the mystic arts. Furious, Wong asks Jen to serve a cease and desist to Donny Blaze to make an example of him. However, the court doesn't agree with the danger posed by Blaze, and allows him to continue practicing his magic. But entertainment is a fickle business, and the audience are no longer impressed with Donnie's ability to send audience members to Hell Dimensions, so he accidentally brings the Hell Dimension to them. Wong and She-Hulk team up to save the audience in exchange for Donnie's agreement that he will no longer use his sketchy control of the mystic arts. Despite all the interdimensional goings-on, Jen manages to set up her dating profile under She-Hulk, as advised by Nikki, and sets out on a number of disastrous dates before finding a promising partner. But hot doctors are overrated, and as soon as he sees her alter ego, he can't wait to get out of Jennifer's house. But things go from bad to worse. As she sees the not-so-good doctor out, she is issued with court documents at her door, as Titania International own the rights to the name She-Hulk, and serve Jennifer with an order to cease and desist from using the name she never picked.
Excellent. Once again, another mention of Titania, our possible villain for the season, huh?
I am Titania.
And John is now Sia. He has the haircut for it, ladies and gentlemen.
I do, indeed. But anyway, yes.
Not a huge amount of story in this episode. This is all about the laughs and a fun, silly episode. But we will be discussing our top 3 case points for this episode. Let's kick off with case note number 1. Let's talk about Donnie Blaze and his magic show. Donnie Blaze, not Johnny Blaze, not to be confused with the Ghost Rider, but clearly a little bit of a reference there for Marvel fans, huh?
Yes, 100%. That was my first question mark, which is when they first said it, I was like, say what again? Sorry, what was that name? Is this actually going to be like a backdoor joking? He actually turns out to be a Ghost Rider of a different name.
Oh my god, can you imagine the fans of Ghost Rider if this was their new Ghost Rider after getting a great one with Gabriel Luna and 2 awful ones with Nicolas Cage in his movies? If they suddenly got Donnie Blaze and this guy as their new Ghost Rider, that would be so bad.
When you urinate fire, you're putting a certain kind of mark on cinematic history.
Yeah, pretty bad one. Yeah.
Hey, potato, tomato. Let's call it that.
Yes, you're not even seeing the same vegetable, Chris.
Exactly. I enjoyed Nicolas Cage. I'm not an apologist, but I at least say I enjoyed it.
I love Nicolas Cage. You're totally right. Yeah, but not his Ghost Rider. It was terrible. But let's talk about Donnie Blaze, a struggling magician. An awful former pupil at Kamar-Taj. That was kind of a bit of a reveal that he was actually brought to Kamar-Taj to train in the mystic arts, but only lasted a week because he decided to do an impromptu kegger with his former classmate in college, right?
I guess so. I guess there was no frat house for him to sort of have his wild parties, and I'm guessing the monks of Kamar-Taj weren't really up for that. But yeah, definitely a third-rate magician and certainly a 10th-rate sorcerer from Kamar-Taj.
Definitely. They probably should have confiscated his sling ring before he left, though.
Yeah,
he probably nicked it. Like, we saw Doctor Strange doing the pinching of the library book. So
yeah.
You never know how he got his hands on those. Although
he doesn't seem to be very good at sleight of hand either, as we see his disappearance of the documents that Jen serves him inside his shirt, even though they're still sticking out of his shirt.
Yeah, well, I exactly. I must say this, like we said, I got a lot of laughs out of this episode, and I think, dare I say it, Donnie Blaze's big conjuring is conjuring up Madison the Volunteer, because she made me absolutely scream laughing all the way through this, in terms of being portaled to a hell dimension and then falling into effectively almost into the lap of Wong as he's watching Sopranos at Kamar-Taj, and ruining his viewing pleasure. I just really enjoyed the dynamic between these two characters of Wong as he shall now be known from here on in, and Madison. The sort of the unexpected sort of hit, I guess. I just really like the connection of these two. And I mean, even Donnie Blaze as well, just like you say, where he tries to magic away the cease and desist. Just the whole thing with the flowers going from white fake roses to red fake roses, and Madison going, there's no smell of these. It's really, really good.
I really did enjoy Madison in here as well. Yeah, her whole conversation, her description of what actually happened to her was hilarious. The idea that she's been sent to a hell dimension where she had to fight off a bunch of demons, make a pact with another demon who will destroy and kill all of her family, and then she is allowed to be sent back to Wong's house, but it just seems to pass right over her. Absolutely.
Is this
brilliant.
another Ralph Boner situation? Are we like, is it Mephisto?
Or have we just met Mephisto? Has he just done his first deal in the MCU? Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it was really good. Even just, when she falls through and she goes, "Are you the Goblin King?" A meta-talking goat who helped me for 6 drops of my blood. So I really enjoyed this. I just loved the whole thing and dynamic between these two. I mean, even where she's in court as well, where they're asking her, well, what was it like going to the hell dimension? She goes, yeah, it was pretty good. And then it was a bit scary. Then it went good again. And
it's kind of spooky.
Still good, spooky. And then, it was okay. As Donnie Blaze's lawyer says, and isn't that what a magician show should be as well?
Fun and spooky. Let's put it on the poster. Spooky. Yes.
Even just with the spelling of her name, 2 N's, 1 Y, but not where you think. And you see in the courtroom, Donnie Blaze's lawyer scribbling out the name because he spelt it wrong. There's some really nice touches to this whole episode, and certainly around Madison. I really liked it.
Yeah, it's great fun. The fact that she loves to spoil The Sopranos for Wong as well is brilliant. 2 of the biggest moments, I think, from Sopranos that she's just spoiled. Interesting they use Sopranos. As far as I remember, that's the first non-Disney property that we've seen used in any of these shows. Almost every time they mention or reference something else, it's like, and you can also watch that over on Disney Plus now because we have the rights to Fox and everything else. HBO show being mentioned here in Disney, but they spoiled the show for you now, so you don't need to watch it. Maybe that was their plan.
And as well, the other side of it is Madison, gives the nickname to Wong for Wongus. Yes. And I love how she's kind of brought into the courtroom to give her testimony through Sling Ring. She doesn't even know there, so she's there with her cocktail. Yeah. And she's like, passes it to the security guard in the court, and she goes, yeah, you can have it. After the judge says, no drinking in court, she goes, you take it, you finish it off. I've not got any illness or anything. So really, and then just wanting to hook up again with Wong so that they can go get a froyo and talk about The Sopranos again.
Absolutely. Gotta get some frozen yogurt with our Wongers. But she also seemed quite popular when he opened up the portal to bring her in. Everybody's cheering her name. Everybody's cheering for Madison. So obviously the life and soul of the party, as she is in this episode.
Or is that part of the deal that she made with the demon?
Yeah.
There you go, with Mephisto, yes.
Yes.
How about Wong in this episode? This is the second episode in a row we've had Benedict Wong in the show. I think he's even funnier in this episode.
Yeah.
100%. Like, even his really cheap parlor trick card flip one, we're going to see the Agent Wu from WandaVision. He'll be doing that. Like, he'll be copying now that he has kind of mastered Scott Lang's magic trick from Ant-Man. This is his next piece. But look, for me, this is fun. This is like a different element of Wong. It's fun to be introduced again into the magic world, the mystic arts as a sorcerer supreme. Yes, all of that. We get some cool little demons, but you just also get to see Wong going through the list of drinks he's had.
Yeah.
you get to see him like make some basic magic, but then also do some cool magic. We can kind of, if you want, we can talk about that because like he's using the sling ring to a bit like as a portal to suck, almost like a vacuum at the end. Like while also kind of using some of the portal magic as almost a lasso. And a whip, if you will.
That was very
like,
cool.
There's some, and then when he magics up his kind of knives again, his immaterial kind of blades that he puts on when the other Donnie comes in into his apartment and goes, "Oh my god, I need your help." He like magics up his actual fighting implements, and it's fun. Like, it looks cool.
Absolutely. Benedict Wong is having a blast here. And you may forget because, you know, we've seen Benedict Wong in quite serious situations in some of the Avengers movies, but you may forget right back to the first Doctor Strange. He's always had those comedy moments. He's had the moment of not knowing who Beyonce was, or that was the joke at least that ran through that first movie. We've had loads of comedy moments from Benedict Wong, and I think he works really well, giving him a little spotlight as Comedy Wong for an episode here.
I love as well, you know, we were talking about it, but just the fourth wall breaking from Jennifer Walters as well, which goes, yes, Wong's back. He gives the show Twitter armor for a week, you know, which is really good. And actually, I don't know whether the writers, as you were saying, Derek, when we were chatting about it, knew that, you know, some of the negative Twitter and tweets that have been given about, you know, everything being destroyed because there's a female superhero and so on, whether they were just so self-aware as to how they would be trolled on this by bots and whoever, you know, people that just need to kind of lighten up, I guess. You know, I just love that was the fourth wall breaking. It brightened the old heart, really. That
absolutely
they just seem very self-aware around it, you know, some of the reaction that's going to happen here. So I thought that was really superb, really on point, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. They're totally self-aware. You know, you got to remember most of the people involved in this show, this is not their first rodeo. They're not people that aren't aware of what the internet attacks, and particularly after the post-credit scene last week with the Megan Thee Stallion and She-Hulk twerking, which did break the internet in exactly the way everybody was expecting. Loads of people trolling, loads of people attacking Marvel for, oh my god, you have a woman dancing in your show. Oh my god, you've ruined the entire MCU. Ridiculous stuff.
Stan Lee is turning in his grave.
Exactly, but we saw this episode a month ago before any of the episodes had been released. This is absolutely what they expected to happen, and that's exactly why one of the first scenes we see here is Jennifer Walters going, "Oh, we might have Twitter Arbor for the next week," is because they knew exactly what was going to happen.
Exactly, I mean, really good that they did this.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So for me, the overall self-relevant and referential kind of callbacks, the whole shebang, is one of the reasons I'm enjoying the hell out of this. They understand what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
They understand where they're going. Coming up very soon, Matt Murdock, Daredevil, is going to be there. And they're going to make some referential treatment. Like, this is the guy you've been waiting for, even though he's coming to our show first. Like, they'll reference this because you're right. These are well-known, like, seasoned writers and directors. They know what they're doing. They know how to play the game. They, like, this isn't Marvel's first rodeo.
Absolutely.
Everyone, like, I'm not saying that they're actively doing certain things to drum up marketing. They wouldn't be doing it like that. They're not trying to start Twitter feuds and wars, but they understand how the world works and understand how, quote unquote, certain elements of the fan base will react to certain things.
Yeah, and importantly, we've been saying it since the start of this phase of Marvel. One of the central tenets of this section of Marvel seems to have been, this doesn't have to be for you. If you don't like it, don't watch it. And that's very much the attitude they've had right back from the start of this phase of Marvel. Every TV show, every movie has come with this side of it, which is, we know we're not going to appeal to everybody. We're going to appeal to the people that like this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think She-Hulk is nailing it right here, going, but if you don't like it, there's going to be more down the line, so just switch off. Like, that's exactly the way we're going to be going.
Absolutely. And I did like, Chris, that you channeled your inner Wong with quote unquote, doing your air quotes.
Thank you. You got
Did you see what I'm doing with my fingers here? Magic.
Magic.
Yeah.
I get
Exactly,
it. I get
exactly.
it.
But yeah,
100%. Like, it's like comic books. Not every comic book is for everyone. Not every comic book show is going to be for everyone going forward. Because they also have subplots as well. Like, which is our second case note.
Mm-hmm.
We have a second storyline around Jen trying to find love in a world where she's She-Hulk and not dating, or she's Jen and she's dating. Like, that's a fun B-point story.
Absolutely.
Like, I enjoyed that almost as much as I enjoyed Wong, because we got you got to see all these less than adequate men. Let's put it that way. And I have female friends who are back on the dating game scene, and they have told me stories that this is tame and timid in comparison to some of these real stories I've heard.
Yeah.
Like, I have a friend who essentially got stuck with a couple of €100 bill at a restaurant in a table because the guy went, I'm just going to go to the bathroom.
Nice.
Just before dessert.
Nice.
And ghosted.
Uh-huh.
Became at least this guy just probably got her, I think, for some, got Jen for just a couple of drinks and so, I think a breadbasket. Like, it wasn't a full dinner. Depends on LA though. That can be expensive. A couple of drinks and a breadbasket can be expensive.
That's very true. Yeah, very true.
yeah, no, I really like the whole, the dating game and profile in this. I like the fact that she succumbs to Nikki's advice to put up the picture of She-Hulk because she's literally getting no pings. And then all of a sudden you just hear the mobile going ping, 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 ping.
Yeah.
And then you get to see, some examples of her dating with the guy just, how much can you bench press? Just
made me laugh because it's all about his response to her. That's the only reason he's asking the question. He's like a full ton, and he's like, well, I could do 600 kilos. And I'm not even a superhero. Can we get an order in here?
Yeah, exactly.
Really good. It's all about his response to her. That's the only reason I'm asking the question. So that kind of follows through with a few more of them all. Nobody really interested in Jen, all interested in interrogating her or getting their information about themselves across to her.
Yeah. Although I do have a mini theory about one of the guys. I think it's the third guy. I think it's just before the hot doctor.
Yeah.
And just because he's asking about, are you indestructible? I do like Jennifer's response, which is, well, I'm not trying to die here.
I haven't really tested it, yes.
But he's asking about whether she's indestructible. You're a specimen. And I don't know, there's something about the face, or at least the eyes, that I kind of suddenly thought, is that a member of Wrecking Crew? The guy in the balaclava that actually tried to do the injection effectively and take the blood sample. And, because it's now gone up on the dating profile app. And so maybe they're trying to get close to her in that way or something. I just don't know, but there was just something familiar I felt, but it could be all or it could be nothing. It could be all the king's horses and all the king's men. You just don't really know here.
It could be just another person that wants to date someone famous, which is, exactly how he approaches it. I was a fan of yours beforehand and then starts asking her all her stats and all of her stuff. But I do like the idea that it could play into that storyline of the Wrecking Crew.
It's like kind of getting intel on the QT. I just don't know, though.
Yeah.
There was just something about the eyes. They looked like the ones behind the balaclava from the week before.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. But very interesting if that does lead into something much bigger in the future. I love that could be hidden in amongst all of these people that are dating Jen. Let's talk about Hot Doctor, I guess.
They're overrated.
They are.
Hot doctors are like, look at John Harrison. He's a doctor.
He's pretty hot though.
Yeah.
I'm underrated, I guess.
After 16 years together, I'd say he's rated just about right. But
I'm a nerdy, underrated doctor.
Hot doctor.
Hot doctor.
there you go. But I like that the show does give a little tip to anybody who might be watching the show and be single and is out there dating. If you want to attract somebody, the greatest way to attract them is to listen to them. You ask them questions. That's how he opens. I'm kind of sick of talking about myself. How about you tell me about yourself? That's a great opening line to get to know somebody that you might want to date. Doesn't turn out the best, but that is how you start a date, right? That's the right way. It's not, hey, how you doing? Here's all about me. It's, hey, how you doing? I want to know about you. So they do give a little tip.
They do. But it just had a fantastic comedy moment where Wong interrupts the special moment between the two of them, where he goes, I feel like your dad, as he whisks away. But then I like the fact that he drops her back off effectively from above in the perfect position to continue said amorous activities. So it's like, it was just really, really good fun. I love that.
Yeah. What's that in your hair? Oh, it's just some demon tooth. Don't worry. Demon claw. Ooh. I was just like, yeah, nice. I wasn't sure how they ended it. I wasn't too happy on that one. I thought they might try and give Jen a beginning of a kind of something, but I suppose it is early.
Oh yeah.
The only thing I hope they don't do, and again, I have no stake in this game. I'm just saying, because it is somewhat lazy writing, but I don't think they will, which is, the other lawyer from, the law agency, the nice guy, he is going to be the one that maybe she starts to like because he likes her for just being essentially Jen. I think that's where they'll go, and you're like, oh no.
But that's exactly what's going to happen,
yeah,
Chris.
Exactly.
You can't tell them against a show that's doing half-hour comedies to have that trope in there. The trope is that she dated a hot doctor who turned out to not like her for herself. So, of course, she's going to find somebody in her circle who likes her for herself. And, yeah, they're going to date, I would say, by the end of the season.
Okay.
Sorry, Chris. Might as well be disappointed now.
Just don't even let me down easy. Like, she's going to end up with the actor who, Josh, who plays Augustus, like, or Pug. Like, we know it's going to happen, but I was just like, maybe give us something a bit different. Yeah. Like, but I'm fine with, like I said, I'm fine with it, but maybe try. Yeah. But give me
you never know. It could be Prince or Princess Charming.
Yeah, maybe she'll find Doc Samson, another doctor who's got hulky powers. Maybe that might be the way to go. You never know.
That point, I'm telling Bruce to stop bleeding on people. Come on, seriously. At this point, like, you're bleeding on too many people to give them powers.
Maybe herself and Titania will hit it off. You never know.
Yeah, who knows?
But you did mention earlier on that we will have Matt Murdock coming in the future for this show, and she is served with some papers at the end of this for copyright infringement. Maybe the Devil of Hell's Kitchen is now a copyright lawyer in LA. You never know.
That's probably how he could.
I want to know the dots to that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was always there to protect the innocent people who are getting slapped with copyright claims.
Exactly. Her Dark Knight, so to speak.
There you go. Or her Red Knight. Yeah.
Yes. Or Yellow Knight.
Or Yellow Knight, depending on the costume. Yes. Exactly. Anything else about the dating that's going on with Jen?
No.
Nothing from me.
I think it's on to case note number 3.
Yes.
With Donnie's new sling ring trick.
Yes, and Marvel team up. Featuring She-Hulk and Wong, the master of the mystic arts. I can totally see that as a cover of Marvel Team Up comics, can't you?
Definitely. I loved this, just how all those demon creatures coming from the portal happen, where you just have this Donnie's new sort of trick creates this beautiful white dove that flies off and lays the perfect egg on her hands, and they're all clapping, and then this little baby monster cracks out the egg and starts to cause havoc, and then all the rest of his siblings start pouring out of the portal, which I loved how, like, they grew as well during it.
Yeah.
So that was, again, mentioned it about how Jen got pulled into this from by Wong because she wouldn't answer her phone while she was dealing with Hot Doctor. So I just really I like this fight. And as you said, Chris, like just some of the additional little tricks of the proper Sorcerer Supreme magic was good as well. The Vortex one, I thought that was pretty nifty.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did like it, and you mentioned it in your synopsis. I did like, again, it is that entertainment is a fickle business because he was trying to win the ability to be able to do his trick of putting people into another dimension during a magic show. And already people are bored of it. He's only got, a 2-week stay while the judge makes a decision as to whether to ban him from using this magic. And already the audience are like, yeah, bored. Saw it last week. What's the next big magic trick you have for us? And then he starts bringing the demons in from the other dimension. In error, by mistake. He does admit his flaw, but I do like that little commentary on the fickleness of big magic tricks.
Yeah. No, like that's it. I think if they can continue with this type of kind of, this is what is going to be in season 1, season 2 and beyond, where it's like point A, how do I say, story A, story B, and then like with includes comedy, some nice cameos, a bit of fun, some good one-liners, and then a bit of action in between that shows off like it was good. Like she kind of picked up a load of them. They got bigger. Like it was fun. She was jumping or like hulking. She was hulking out, but like not with the rage monster. Kind of like just being very like jumping around, grabbing 2 or 3 of them and firing them like kind of American footballs down the end, the 40-yard line kind of thing. If they can give me this every week going forward, or at least every couple of weeks, this is fun. This is something that's going to be good.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I've laughed as much as at any of the other episodes. This made me laugh. And I think last time when we watched this, we were just getting ready to do our first podcast after the first 4 episodes in advance and watch this episode. At the end, I'd had a glass of wine and I was like, maybe it's the glass of wine that's making me laugh. Maybe I've already got a little bit of alcohol into me and that's what's making me laugh. And I watched it this morning, 8 o'clock. Not the most awake
glass
in the
of
world.
alcohol in you.
Not this morning. It wasn't one of those mornings, but not this morning. But I did laugh so much at this episode. It really made me smile, and I think everybody was on form here. From as you say, all of the people coming in and the dates were hilarious. The whole bit with Wong and Madison made me laugh even more the second time watching it. So, really enjoyed it.
There was even the bit as well when Wong first goes to Jennifer for the legal advice. And, he says how, well, there was no contract. We are answerable to a higher power. And she goes, well, we'll throw the book at him. And he's like, what, the Book of Ashanti? And she's like, no, this is the American legal system. It's the US law book.
Has to be done by the book.
Yeah, really, just so many good little moments to hear. I think testament to the writer as well. There's that comedic pedigree here that you can see. And from, short, sharp episodes as well from that series. So I really enjoyed this a lot. And ultimately, Donnie agrees to the cease and desist. He'll no longer be using his sorcerer his bad sorcerer magic that he can remember, I guess. So yeah, I like this a lot. And indeed, like even just when Donnie was changing outfits in the courtroom and sort of whipping up the courtroom as well as the judge by putting sort of the cute white bunny rabbit on the table and like, it was just like really silly but very funny.
Anybody getting flashbacks to Job from Arrested Development with his magic tricks?
Yes, exactly.
There's a certain touch of that. Really enjoyed that. I guess that's it overall. We're almost recommending or not recommending the episode. So, John, overall, do you defend episode 4 of She-Hulk Attorney at Law? Is this not real magic?
I do. I give this 4.5 Wongas out of 5. I just really enjoyed this. It was funny from start to finish. I thought Wong and Madison were excellent. I thought Jen Walters and Wong were excellent. I loved the courtroom scene. I thought Donnie Blaze was just this perfectly ridiculous magician that happened to also have been training at least for 1 week at Kamatage. It was all just so silly and wonderful, and really lent into the comedy aspect of this show.
Yeah.
So as I say, the only thing other than the Titania sort of delivering the legal documents here that kind of continues that thread is I do wonder if one of her dates was possibly a member of the Wrecking Crew.
I like it. I like the theory, John. I like the theory. I love this episode. As I said, made me laugh more than any of the episodes so far. So keep on bringing it, She-Hulk. Love it. How about yourself, Chris?
Yeah, I would yes with 2 Ys, but not where you think. Hey, that's really good head scratcher.
That's going to be really confusing.
Yeah, look, there's not much more I can say on this. Like, I'm having fun with each passing episode. I'm having more fun each week. And I kind of, before we even started recording, I was like, this is like a 9 episode, not a 6 episode. Because I was like, oh my God, if this is a 6 episode, ooh, we are like, this is close. Like, I was like, ooh, don't know if I could do that. But this is 9. Like, it's good pacing. It's good fun. And yeah, we're kind of leading up to what I think will be a fun wrap up of the season. Once we kind of get Titania and a few others. And I'm just really hoping going forward, like I'm okay with Wong. Mm-hmm. Like, we've had 2 episodes now. I think we can hold him off till the end, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need a third now, but he definitely bring him back later. Mm-hmm. But for now, I think let's just continue on with kind of Jessica's story. And we know we have Charlie Cox of Daredevil coming in, so give us 2 more of him, and then that's your cameos done, and we're good.
Maybe, yeah. Hopefully we'll get even more ones that we don't even know about. Did you notice in the post-credit animation bit that's there? There is a shield symbol on one of the documents that Jennifer has. Those credits change most weeks, but that one's been there since the start. There hasn't been a mention of shield yet. So will we get an agent of shield appearing in the show? Oh, that's the one that I'm holding out for. If we get another cameo, we don't know yet. Maybe that's the one.
You're always holding out hope for shield.
And
always. Can you imagine Agent Coulson walking into this
I
office?
hope they
cool.
sort of say, and what's Sword all about?
Probably not. No, they probably won't go anywhere near that. They might ask
I hope so.
something of Melinda May, maybe. She might be in there. Maybe we get Quake back. That'd be kind of cool. Any of them. I'd take any Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. in She-Hulk. Good stuff. Well, let's take a moment to take this week's bar exam.
Yes, over in the Legalese pub. It is episode 4, which means it is question 4, fellow quizzers and fellow defenders. So here we go. What is the name of the demon that Madison made a deal with to escape the Hell Dimension and get dropped off at Wong's?
That's a good one. I like that. Is that the goat?
It
Yes,
is.
I do remember that at least. Good stuff. John, do you want to get the question one more time?
Yes, what is the name of the demon that Madison made a deal with to escape the Hell Dimension and get dropped off at Wong's? Answers, fellow quizzers and defenders, to feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com. You can send them in one at a time, episode by episode, or all at the end after we have gone through all 9 episodes of the series, and you'll be in with a shout to win some She-Hulk goodies.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us for a discussion about this episode of She-Hulk. We're going to talk about your feedback next. If you want to send any thoughts to us about any of the shows we cover, just email us to feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com or pop on over to our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/tvpodcastindustries, where we have a spoiler post up for every show that we're covering, every episode of every show that we're covering as well. First up, we have an email in from Lena with some general thoughts on She-Hulk after last week's episode. Lena says, Hello, fellow defenders, or should I say defense attorneys. This is Lena again. For anyone unfamiliar with me, I'm an alter in a DID system, and I've been interacting with the Into the Night podcast for a while now, giving my perspective on the portrayal of DID in Moon Knight, both the comics and the TV shows. Written into TV podcast industries before when we were covering the Moon Knight show, and now I'd also like to give my thoughts on the new She-Hulk show. First of all, let me just say we are loving this show. We have been fans of She-Hulk in the comics for a long time, and we are delighted to finally see her in live action. The fourth wall breaking, the guest stars, the comedy, it's just great. But even though I have seen all 3 episodes so far, and love them all, I wanted to get back and comment on something from the first episode. Those of you who mainly know the Bruce Banner Hulk from the movies and the old 70s TV show may not be aware of this, but in the comics, Bruce has canonically had DID since the 80s. It was the Marvel writer Bill Mantlo who first wrote this into the story in Incredible Hulk 312 by saying that the Hulk was an alter that had existed since Bruce's childhood, when he was emotionally and physically abused by his father. He just didn't have a separate physical form until that fateful gamma explosion. Other writers, such as Peter David and Al Ewing, later expanded on the concept of Banner's DID, giving the Hulk system more alters. So far, the MCU Hulk appearances have said nothing about whether or not he has DID in the MCU, but in my mind, that's the most logical explanation for why Jennifer didn't have a separate alter ego when she became She-Hulk. Her cousin Bruce has DID, she does not. The fact that Bruce is shocked by this, I believe, indicates that he himself is unaware of the fact that he has DID. This is not that unrealistic. DID is a disorder that is specifically built for hiding, and so it's not uncommon for systems to be unaware of their own DID until well into their adulthood. Even though Dr. Banner is highly intelligent and knows all about dialectical behavior therapy, the power of denial is strong and can create intentional blind spots in even the most intelligent of people. I think it would be interesting to see him eventually start to become aware of his DID, either in later episodes of this show, or maybe he could meet Mark, Stephen with a V, and Jake in season 2 of Moon Knight. We can only dream and hope that those dreams come true. Well, that's all I have for now, so keep on defending. Lena. P.S. If you'd like to hear more about Lena's thoughts on the portrayal of Bruce Banner's DID, go and check out Gamma Charge, the strongest podcast there is, a Hulk podcast, where Lena has shared her thoughts on there on Bruce Banner. Very interesting thoughts.
Absolutely.
I really like that. I love the idea of combining it into the MCU and bringing in Moon Knight, meeting up with Hulk, and maybe that's part of the realization from Dr. Bruce Banner that he has DID. I really like that idea.
That is a great, it's a great idea, but it's just like a great interpretation. It's, you know, I think of having read Hulk comics, you know, watched them in shows before, just never had, that thought that Hulk would be an alter in that world of DID, like say with Moon Knight. And it feels like it's, you know, with Lena sort of laying it out like that, it just feels like it's staring you sort of squarely in the face. I really enjoyed those comments from you, Lena. Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks, Lena. I was aware of some of the DID bit back from Al Ewing's bit, but I wasn't aware of the Bill Mantlo aspect even that far back, which is cool. I suppose, this makes me want to read more about it, so I'm going to might to dive back in. I have a trip coming up, so I might kind of jump into some of these older Hulk stories to see where they go. But as always, thanks for your feedback. And it was definitely check out their thoughts on Gamma Charge.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks, Lena. Next up, we have an email from John Daniel. Wow, this is by far the silliest episode, and I have to admit, it concerned me for a few minutes during the corny magician court proceedings. It was sitcom fare, to be sure, but Donny Blaze wasn't landing with me. The Twitter armor comment about Wong was genius, though. I was thrilled to see Jen's dad arrive with a shovel. Of course he's going to worry about her. He's Larry Appleton. Surprisingly to me, I was thoroughly entertained by Jen She-Hulk's dating adventures. I had heard from your podcast that's what the comics were mainly about, and it's sincerely terrific fun. I wasn't sure I'd care, but eagerly awaited every new date train wreck. It's a shame the feminist pediatric oncologist didn't and couldn't appreciate all sides of Jen. Lastly, the final 2 scenes were brilliant for me. Jen being really sarcastic to to the process server and breaking the fourth wall to throw it to Wong and Madison. I had to Google that spelling. Watching This Is Us. More of this madness, please, with More of this madness, please, with a yak milk chaser. See you next week. John from Chicago. Yes, forgot about that. Of course, yak milk chaser with some vodka, which Madison is very interested with. And we do learn that the Sorcerer Supreme, whilst he has tasted many a cocktail, many a drink, does seem to be have gin and tonic as a firm favourite.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you'd be joining him from some
certainly
bottomless gin and tonics, John.
Yeah,
If they
see
can
if
find
you
them.
could.
God, can you imagine?
I know.
Just like spinning your sling ring over it, and it just magically fills up.
Yeah, it's certainly, I guess, bottomless supplies of gin and tonic sounds pretty good. Almost better than water from wine.
As long
for
as
me.
bottomless is no more than 5, you're
Well,
pretty
that's
alright,
true.
John, I'd say.
Well, yeah, it's self-controlling because I'll fall asleep.
There you go. Good stuff. Really good points, John. I just want to say, like, the She-Hulk comics are not mostly gen dating. I don't know whether we did say that in the podcast or whether it came across like that. There's loads and loads of stuff going on in She-Hulk comics, but they do also include her dating in the world. Yes.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like the core aspect of her comic book kind of run, the really famous one that kind of a lot of this is built on, is that she is a lawyer for superhumans and the superhuman kind of this division that wasn't there before. Mm-hmm. That's more of what the main stories are about. Her dating life comes in and out because she's human. But the main kind of crux is dealing with like what happens when Daredevil goes on trial. Who is his lawyer? Those types of things. So that's more the crux of those comics. Definitely not the dating, but they are part of it, to be fair.
Excellent stuff. Thanks so much, John, for your thoughts. Hopefully we hear from you later on in the season.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Yes, thank you so much, John. Finally, we got an email from the one and only Coffee and Vodka who had this to say. Greetings, fellow dating defenders. It's not easy being Green or Jen when competing with a Wong opening. She even caught me with the smile she knew I had. Fun, disconcerting, but fun. A fresh case against Donny Blaze, a magician that in no way should become the next Ghost Rider. A live-ish action Marvel comic team-up with She-Hulk and Wong. Bad date and a good date gone bad. For situational comedy, they know how to create apathy for a seasoned villain, which Titania seems to be. Could be that Jen's defense might be a blind lawyer with some really awesome reflexes. If he defended Bill Bixby, why not? And a perfect chance for She-Hulk to ask, just how old are the viewers of this show? 5 billable battles, mirror dimension magicians, and Soprano spoilers out of 5. Peace and take care, Coffee and Vodka. Thank you so much, Coffee and Vodka. But yes, 5 billable battles out of 5 is always a good thing.
Yes.
Great stuff, Coffee and Vodka. Glad you enjoyed the episode. Yeah, I know they are just setting up Titania. She is coming. We are waiting for her to come, but at least we have a lot of fun on the way while we're watching the episodes. Glad you seem to be enjoying it as much as we are as well. Over on Facebook, on our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/TV Podcast Industries, Heather Wallace said, now I want to drink bottomless G&Ts with Madison and Wongers. And the biggest question of the episode, whose wedding was it that served vodka and yak's milk? Yeah, he did say. Didn't Wong say, yeah, it's left behind after the wedding? I doubt that's going to be Rachel's wedding.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
That was also in New York, though.
I don't think there was much yak's milk going on there.
Maybe some of the magicians from Kamar-Taj brought that with them to the wedding.
Possibly.
I'm not actually sure if any of them were
but I'm with Heather on this as well. I want to drink bottomless G&Ts with Madison and Wongers.
Good stuff. Thanks, Heather. Also on Facebook, Donald Dennis says, huzzah, what a fun episode. I give it 4 out of 5 billable hours. I wonder how good of a lawyer She-Hulk really is, because there were key elements that really could have helped her here. Questions like, whose heart were you holding when you transported to Wong's room? Were you planning on bargaining your immortal soul away when you decided to go to a magic show? What else did you miss out on when you were transported off-world? And what do you usually earn for that amount of time? Why did you, the stage magician, steal the sling ring which belongs to the library at Sorcery Training School? She-Hulk swipes on a lot of different kinds of guys. Good for her.
Excellent stuff.
Good thoughts, Donald. Loads of questions that she could ask, but probably wanted to speed it up to get Madison off the stage.
Yes, that's fair. She's one that you want to keep off.
They regretted their decision putting her up there. It's not a stage. Sorry, off the witness stand. That's it. Stand.
Exactly. Thanks, Donald. We got a little brief bit of feedback from Dr. Bob Phillips as well. This has to be one of the finest shows on telly, with a 95% accurate representation of pediatric oncologists, plus a reminder to try making a Manhattan.
Nice.
Excellent stuff. Thanks, Bob.
Might have to head on down to pediatrics.
Can't say that.
They're overrated. We now have official confirmation of this.
True. We got another email in from Jerry who says, hey, I have to say this is my least favourite episode of the series so far. Very cringeworthy stuff going on here. Let's be real. She-Hulk would have killed that man in bed. Wong stuff, not so funny. Did we get a Mephisto reference from Madison? I still look forward to seeing where the show's going. Did you catch Jen's phone photo as Captain America's butt? Your mystical bailiff, Cherry in Niceville. Yes, we did. America's ass is on Jen's phone as the background. I think we've actually seen that back for a couple of episodes, but hilarious every time it pops up, especially this one, as we see it quite often in there. Thanks, Jerry. It's funny, isn't it, how humor can hit differently with different people. I'm notorious that I'm not a big fan of broad comedies, yet this comedy is hitting me much better than things like the Thor Ragnarok, that kind of comedy that we've seen before in the MCU. But hopefully next week it'll hit a bit better for you. Thanks so much, Jerry, for your thoughts. Back over on Facebook, Victor Von Doom says, greetings, Defenders. Wong's got a girlfriend. They make such a cute couple. Break out the Tito's gimlets. I think Donny Blaze should be Johnny Blaze. Perhaps Wong could arrange it. I think the reason Wong hesitates to banish him to another dimension is Donny could probably do more damage from there. By the way, I think Benedict Wong is sneakily stealing the show. Will Jen's hot date return? Is he intimidated by the Jen She-Hulk dynamic? Not a combination I would pass on. Is Matt Murdock representing Tatiana? If so, there's got to be some state bar laws skirted there. Excelsior, Victor Von Doom. Benedict Wong is doing a great job, I think, as we've been calling it. The Phase Wong has been excellent, showing loads of different versions of Wong, I suppose. He's been really, really good in here. But Tatiana, for me, is right up there as the lead of the show. She's working so well, and playing it straight sometimes, playing it funny other times. She's working so well for me in the show. But Benedict's a great guest star, really, really good. We hopefully will see Matt Murdock really soon. Maybe he is representing Tatiana again. That would be a big change of the type of law that he practiced, but you never know. He may be the one representing She-Hulk. Great to hear from you, Victor. Salima Kislar finally says, loved Rhys Quarro as the magician. Yes, he was so good as Donny Blaze in this episode. Really good to see him here. I think the last time I saw him was on The Walking Dead, and he was a very, very different character over there, one of the saviors over on Walking Dead. So it's great to see him over here in this really good comedic role.
Yes, thank you so much, folks. If you want to hear your thoughts on the podcast, make sure you leave us your feedback and send it to feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com, or head on over to Facebook at facebook.com/groups/TV Podcast Industries.
Absolutely. And this episode of TV Podcast Industries is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon, including Mike Kegler. Thanks so much for your support, Mike.
Yeah, big thanks, Mike.
Yes, thank you so much, Mike. And if you too want to be like Mike, because Mike is magic, you can support us over on patreon.com/TV Podcast Industries, or you can head on over and to buymeacoffee.com/TVPI, where you can support us for one-off donation. Thank you so much.
And thanks to everybody that supports us by sharing the podcast, because, of course, sharing the podcast is
sharing
the yak's milk.
Well, let's hope not.
It doesn't go well with vodka, but maybe it goes well on its own. Maybe.
Yak's milk might go well with love. Who knows?
Thanks so much once again for all of your support and listening along with us. A little bit of news for you for all of our wonderful fellow defenders. We're going to be taking a short break from podcasting. We're going to be going away for 2 weeks. finally going on actual holidays and not bringing any of the tools with us that would allow us to podcast while we're away. Chris is also working out of the country, so won't be able to podcast while we're gone. What that means is we'll be back with episode 5 and 6 of She-Hulk when we return from our holidays. We will be back to podcasting in around the 26th of September. We are still going to be covering Lord of the Rings of Power episode 3 before we go, and episode 8 of The Sandman before we go. But we'll take a little bit of break from them as well, and we'll be back with those in 2 weeks' time. So there will still be loads of content to listen to, and we do have 704 episodes to listen to now. So loads of things to catch up on while we're away.
Yes, and we will have a pop quiz to ask you questions from the 700 plus episodes. So make sure you go back and listen to them, because we're like, don't cheat now. I'm fully expecting the pub quiz is going into overdrive.
That would truly be a bar exam.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, if we did that.
Exactly. Well, look, thank you so much, folks. Please take care, and we will speak to you with episodes 5 and 6 very soon.
Yeah, thanks so much, fellow defenders, for joining us. It's great chortling away about She-Hulk with you. Remember, in the meantime, though, keep watching, keep listening, and keep defending. Bye.